Schönen guten Abend an alle Deutschsprechenden. Ne? Gut, dass ihr gemerkt habt, dass in Japan keine Winterzeit gilt. Ne? Das heißt, den Winter über werden wir immer eine Stunde früher anfangen, ne? 12 Uhr mittags. Es gibt immer ein, zwei, die das nicht mitkriegen und wahrscheinlich erst in der Stunde kommen und sich wundern, wenn wir nicht mehr da sind. Und ja, in ein paar Minuten geht es los. We will start in a couple of minutes. And in Europe, I think on Sunday, summer start time ended, but in Japan there's no summertime. So that means for everybody in Europe, during the winter we will start 1 hour earlier. In Central Europe that would be 12 o'clock noon. Yeah, but if you watch my German videos, there's no change there because I will, how do you say, adjust the time that I upload those videos to German standard time, so to speak. It will still be 6 o'clock in Germany every morning. And those of you who are in Japan, on Friday I will give a Zazen workshop in English language in Kobe. There's a friend of mine, a German physiotherapist who has a clinic in Kobe, and I will give a workshop there starting at 4:30 in the afternoon. But that's only interesting for those who are living in the Kansai area, the area of Osaka or Kobe. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's Monday Zen and Zazen class. Today I'm sitting in the living room because I'm the only one at home right now, and it's easier to connect to a Wi-Fi in this room. And today is one of the weeks I will talk about Sawaki Roshi's quote from this book to you. But before that, as always, let's sit together for 30 minutes. After that, I will talk for 15, maybe 20 minutes, and after that, you have the opportunity to ask questions if you like. So let's start with Zazen, sitting first. Thank you for joining. So today I want to talk about this book, Sawaki Roshi's To You. And we are on page 62. 2 weeks ago, the last quote, Sawaki Roshi said, "Sit in Zazen with the intention to starve." So give everything, don't expect anything back. And the next quote goes as follows: "What caters to worldly feelings has nothing to do with Zazen. The buddha-dharma doesn't care a whit about what we humans would prefer." Here he talks about worldly feelings like, I want to make a career, I want to be a better person, I want to make more money, I want to be more popular with the boys or with the girls. And Zazen doesn't help you with all of that. It doesn't care a whit about your human feelings, not even about this feeling, I want to get enlightened. I want to be an enlightened person. That's what Zazen is all about. And Sawaki Roshi says, no, it's not about that. Zazen doesn't care at all if you would like to be enlightened or not. My teacher once said, you don't count at all. You don't count at all. From the point of the buddha-dharma, you don't count at all. Your enlightenment doesn't count at all. And even if you had some Kensho experiences, who cares? The Buddha doesn't care about your enlightenment experience. So that means to let go of all of that. All of the enlightenment experience you still want to have or that you think you already had. Yesterday's Kensho doesn't interest anybody. And Zazen isn't a tool to get another Kensho tomorrow. Let me proceed to the next quote. What's this all about? All these people sitting around staring at the wall. What could be more absurd? That's how Zazen appears to people stuck in the impermanent world. How many people are we today? 17. 17 people staring at a screen, at a computer screen, or maybe some of them turning their backs to the computer screen, sitting silently for 30 minutes. How stupid can you be? How stupid can you be to do that? How stupid. And probably we all got some kind of input like that from our friends, from our family. What are you doing when you meditate? Well, basically, I'm just sitting and not doing anything. And what's it good for? Well, it's good for nothing. What? How stupid can you be to do something like that? But still, there's 17 people that meet here today. You always find some people that are stupid enough to do exactly that. That's what's good for nothing from a worldly perspective. But it's no surprise, probably it wouldn't be a surprise if Sawaki Roshi learned that, for example, I don't know, 1 or 2 decades ago, there was a big mindfulness boom all over the world, also in Japan. Even the Japanese that were not interested in Zazen. It's usually the foreigners that come to Japan that say, I want to practice Zen in the temple. And the Japanese that say, why? What? Why? Why would you do something that's as old-fashioned? But then when it became a boom in America and Europe in the form of mindfulness, also the Japanese wanted to try it out. What's this mindfulness thing? And I don't know, Steve Jobs, obviously, he did it at Google. They have mindfulness courses. Why was everybody interested in mindfulness? Well, because it's good for something. You become more efficient at work. It helps you with your human relationships, and maybe it helps you to have a more harmonious relationship with your spouse, whatever. The moment it starts to be good for something, and I have nothing against being mindful, being in the present moment. But I'm also one of those who were a little bit critical about mindfulness and are still a little bit critical today. And what I'm critical about is mindfulness is a tool to run more efficient in the rat race. You're better than the others. You're more mindful than the others. And Zazen is exactly about stopping that, stopping the rat race, jumping out of the hamster wheel. Zazen is not a way of being more efficient in the hamster wheel. Get out of the hamster wheel. Stop being mindful. It's an article that I wrote almost 20 years ago. Stop being mindful. Stop being mindful. That's the spirit of Zen. But that's usually not what people desire. They want more mindfulness, they want more inner peace, they want to cure their psychosis, whatever. And when you tell them, we're just sitting here for 30 minutes and it's good for nothing, and then Muho is talking for 15 minutes about nothing, basically. How good Zazen is because it's good for nothing. And then we can ask some questions. How stupid can you be to waste an hour every Monday? Next quote. What is Zazen good for? The famous question. And here Sawaki Roshi is addressing it one more time. What is Zazen good for? This question itself is really good for nothing. What has the invention of the television been good for? And what have you been good for? Isn't everything actually good for nothing? What has the birth of each single one of us been good for? Basically, not so much. Sawaki Roshi was born in 1880 and he died in 1965, so probably these quotes are from the 1950s, 1960s, when TV was still new and everybody wanted to have their own TV set. And at first it was black and white, and then you had color TV. And probably most people who wanted a TV set, they thought it's good for a lot of things. You can get information, the news. You can see the news, you can see entertainment. You can see people sing and dance. On TV, in your living room. You can watch the soccer games or the baseball games. And today it would be the internet, it would be the smartphone. What has the smartphone been good for? Also, it's a very convenient tool. Without that smartphone, I wouldn't have a camera. Without the internet, we couldn't come here together. So the internet has been good for a lot of things, but probably not, I'm not the only one that imagined. When I first learned about the internet, it was about 25 years ago, around the year 2000. And at that time in the monastery in Antaji, we had no internet, but people came to Antaji and they said, there's this internet thing. What can you do with it? You can send a mail. So how much does it cost to send a mail from Japan to Germany? It doesn't cost anything. How long does it take to reach Germany? Oh, in a second. You can send a mail in a second. Before that, it took a week and it cost money if you want to phone. It was expensive, and now you could do all of that for nothing in an instant. You could connect to people. Now you can use Zoom and you can see each other's faces. And it costs almost nothing. And it saves a lot of time. You can work on the train, you can work on the plane today. And I imagined, and probably a lot of people imagined, that's going to make life much more convenient. I will have to work less. Everybody's going to have to work less. Like when I grew up in the 80s, until the 70s or so, people had to work 40 hours a week. Then it went down to 38. Then it went down to 35. And I thought maybe in the year 2000, we would work maybe 20 hours a week. In the year 2025, maybe everybody's only have to work 10 hours a week. It's going to be enough because we're going to be so efficient thanks to all these machines, thanks to the internet. We will have much more free time. Interestingly, nothing of that happens. Now they're talking about in Germany that everybody has to work again until they're 70. It used to be 60. Used to be 60. People used to retire at 60 and they were working 35 hours a week. And now, if you're married, both have to work and both will have to work until they're 70, although we have all these convenient tools. So what has all this technology been good for? It seems as if it didn't help us very much. So the fact that Zazen is good for nothing is really not a good argument, is the point that Sawaki Roshi is making. What has all the technology been good for? What has the fact that you have been born into this world good for? Nothing much. So why not use your time and really do something that's good for nothing rather than chase the illusion? But there must be something good in TV. After all, there must be something interesting on YouTube or somewhere else. There must be something to get, something to chase. Let me do one more quote. The next quote is about the same topic, about the good for nothingness of Zazen. When somebody asks me what Zazen is good for, I say that Zazen isn't good for anything at all. Then some say that in that case, they'd rather stop doing Zazen. But what's running around satisfying your desires good for? What is gambling good for? And dancing? What is good for to get worked up over winning or losing in baseball? It's all good for absolutely nothing. That's why nothing is as sensible as sitting silently in Zazen. In the world, good for nothing just means that you can't make money out of it. That's basically what I just tried to say. And another one, last one. Often people ask me how many years they have to practice Zazen before it shows results. Zazen has no results. You won't get anything at all out of Zazen. On the Antaiji website, you find the last words of Uchiyama Roshi that he said at the end, I think, of his last Dharma talk there. That was in 1975. When he retired, he gave this Dharma talk. And 7 points to remember during practice. And one of them is, first, you should sit silently for 10 years. And then after 10 years, sit for another 10 years. And after 20 years, sit for another 10 years. So at first, you should have the intention to just sit 30 years, give 30 years of your life. And that's a big portion of our lives. My mother died when she was 38. And even if we live until we're 80 or 90, still 30 years is a long time. So the question, of course, is, so what can I expect after 30 years? And the answer is, if you start with 20 and you do 30 years of Zazen, you will be 50. And that's all you can expect. You're going to be 50. But then spending 30 years on Netflix, spending 30 years playing video games, spending 30 years going every day at 8 o'clock in the morning to work and coming back at maybe 7 or 8 in the evening, or spending 30 years in a place like Antaiji, growing vegetables in the fields, sitting 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, sitting a 5-day session every month. It's all good for nothing, but kind of the same, but also, I think, very different good for nothingness. Okay, so much from my side for today. If you have any questions, anything you would like to share, you're welcome to do so. Any questions? Anything you would like to share? You don't have to. Julian, please.
Well, Sashiburi, nice to see you again. It's really interesting this trying to give up the idea of a gaining thought, isn't it? Because when I was 12 or 13 and I was first interested in Zen, I was really interested in like enlightenment and Kensho, and that doesn't, I'm stupid enough to know I'm not interested in that now. But there is something bringing us all to sit here together. There's something bringing you to
Mm,
post so much. How do you how do you keep that gaining instrumental thought in balance when you're thinking, oh, I need to put something up online or
mm, mm.
do this action?
Like the moment it stops to be fun, the moment I cannot enjoy it anymore, I realize this is stupid that I'm doing. Like, for example, when you put videos on YouTube, of course, you look on the clicks, the number of clicks you have, the number of thumbs you get. You're happy if you get more clicks than usual. You're happy if 99% or even 100% of people give you thumbs upwards. Um, but the moment you get attached to it and it kind of brings you down when, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, it always goes downward, then that's a good sign. It's a good sign that, at least a sign for me, maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should take it more easy. Maybe I don't really have to do it. I can do it. If I enjoy it as a game, then if it's still fun for me to play it. But if I think I need to play this game and I need to get better every day and get more followers, then maybe it's time to take a break, to stop it. So
Mm.
for me, well, the sign, like, or for me, kind of where do I draw the line when it's still okay to play the game and when it's maybe better to avoid the game is when you don't enjoy the game anymore. If it loses the playfulness, that's the time when you should take a break.
Yeah, no, I think I said this before, but in my two jobs, as writer and therapist, as a therapist, it's always about that keeping the playfulness, even when I'm dealing with people's really heavy emotion, and just
Mm.
let's be here. Whereas
Mm.
my writer self really struggles with my friends winning awards.
I wanted to have that award. I
Yeah.
heard that award.
Another short list. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I think
yeah, yeah.
playfulness is such a useful tool, isn't it? So thank you.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Mm. Any other questions? Anything else that you would like to share?
I'm not sure if I can phrase this right. Sorry, just kind of thinking about how to phrase it. What I want to ask, but in terms of like you said, like Zen is nothing. We don't gain from it, but I think we all feel something
Mm.
um, that we benefit from, which is
Yes.
why we come back to it. Um, as much as I, as much as the practice is frustrating and great and
Mm.
everything in between, I'm often thinking about how do I take that kind of objectiveness and quietness into daily life,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
just to give myself a bit more kind of balance or calm.
Mm.
Um, if it, how do you kind of, is that something you think about, or are there any kind of approaches in terms of like keeping that kind of calm mind in your daily life?
Mm. I don't think about that too much. As you said in the beginning, like we all notice a change. Although Sawaki Roshi says it's good for nothing, if we wouldn't notice, well, this is doing something with me, this is changing my life, we wouldn't come back, we wouldn't continue. So, of course, probably most, if not everybody who's sitting here has felt this is, yeah, affecting me in a good way. Um, so, of course, that's the case. And of course, we don't want only to be these, say, if you are sitting only on Monday for 30 minutes, I doubt that you do, but let's say that some people here sit only on Mondays, only these 30 minutes, and they feel a change after that, but it doesn't last so long. On Tuesday, they're back to their old self. Um, how do you take it into your everyday life, what people call the everyday life? Basically, well, one reason why it's not so much of a question for me anymore is because I don't really see the distinction. When does everyday life stop and when does my Zazen practice start? Or when does Zen practice start and everyday life starts again? I mean, for me, it's more or less borderless. If maybe for you, it's quite special. For example, you go to a dojo, there's this special space there, everybody's dressing in this special way, but then when you undress and you wear your jeans anymore, you get home, the specialness is gone. I don't know, I would say, well, remind yourself of what you're doing, Zazen. What's the change? What is different? I think one difference is you are here, you're more present than maybe you are when you're watching Netflix. You're more in the moment. So when during the so-called normal life you realize it's gone, well, you can do it also without sitting at work or when you're playing with your kids, whatever you're doing. Remind yourself, hey, where am I? I was somewhere else. I should be here. That's what Zazen is teaching me, to be here. So when you walk to the subway station, for example, rather than in your head already thinking about what do I have to do at first when I'm in my office, start to feel your steps, start to feel the back of your feet when they touch the ground when you walk the street. Feel the fresh air when you go to the supermarket. Things like that, easy things like that, can be a help to kind of integrate that in so-called normal life. But basically for me, it's basically just doing what I do when I do Zazen. Basically here I'm just sitting. When I do the dishes, I just wash the dishes. When I take a bath, I just take a bath. Basically, that's the way how you practice Zen in daily life. You just do what you're doing. You're completely there in that moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Tanya, please.
Yeah, I think it's a very good answer because to my mind came that you can't give orders to your mind to obey, to stay calm or anything. I think the way you just recommend it is the best way to find the thing we like in the Zazen practice in the daily life. Because if I say to my mind, be quiet, don't be angry, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Anybody? If not, next week I will talk about Suzuki Shunryu Roshi's Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. We are still in the posture chapter, but posture is important, so I will take maybe a little bit more time to talk about posture, breath, the different aspects. And in 2 weeks, I'll get back to this book, Sawaki Roshi, emphasizing that Zazen is good for nothing. And exactly therefore, we should do it. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you, Schwanzan, for hosting us as every week. And I wish you a good week. Hope to see you again next Monday.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Have a good week, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.